Hey YouTube, Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Cardfight Vanguard Liael Divine Skill deck profile for post-Dragonsoul Resonance. We got some new support for the Faded One of Time, Liael Amorta, with her new form, Liael Draconis, in the latest Cardfight Vanguard booster set. This was the deck I was the most excited for, so definitely happy to bring you all the update to the deck, with the Divine Skill still having the same playstyle of the original Liael Amorta, being able to set up the basic reride of your Vanguard. So having more of a consistency using the Energy Blast for the bind setup instead of the attack skill. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. For starters, with the ride deck, we have the Energy Generator, our grade 0, being player of the Oliphant, Bellanesta. When rode upon, if you went second, draw a card. Our grade 1 is player of the Lovely Heart, Adorphus. When rode upon by a player of the Beautiful Chord, Elgenia. Soul Blast 1, draw 2 cards, choose up to 1 normal unit from your hand, discard it. If you did not discard a normal unit, choose 2 cards from your hand and discard them. So it helps just to set up some other normal units in your drop zone for our grade 2, which is player of the Beautiful Chord, Elgenia. When rode upon by a grade 3 with Liael in its card name, choose any number of normal units from your drop, put them on the bottom of the deck in any order. If you chose 3 or more, draw a card. So giving you more consistent draw power for having more of those normal units, and it helps to recycle those cards for us to then be able to use with our grade 3 Vanguard. Faded One of Sacred Time, Liael Draconis, along with the copy we run in the ride deck. We're running 3 additional copies in the main deck as well. On the Vanguard circle, once per turn, you can Energy Blast 4, bind a normal unit from your drop or rearguard, choose a card from your hand, discard it, and this unit gets Drive +1 till end of turn. And on the Vanguard circle, when this unit attacks, Counterblast 1, choose one of your rearguards, bind it, search your deck for up to 1 card with the same card name as a card in your bind zone, call it to rearguard, and shuffle the deck. So not only does this card work more consistently for being able to search for the card you want, being able to choose the card from your bind zone to call a card of the same name. It doesn't have to be the card you just bound off of the additional card. You can have that set up with your Energy Blast ability that you used previously, and then have one of those bound cards be able to be called out with our Faded One of Sacred Time. And then the Divine Skill on the Vanguard circle at the end of the battle is you attack. If your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, choose a grade 3 or greater card with Liael in its card name from your soul or drop, and you may ride it as stand. If you rode, that drive becomes 1 until end of turn. So it just gives you more of the re-attacking that you can do consistently with Liael, but this time also having the soul to rely on, so then we don't have to have the Liael Amorta in the drop zone set up for us to use with our Liael Draconis, having consistency from the soul as well. Additional grade 3s that we run in the deck include 4 copies of the Blessed Dragon Gabuelius, one of the better cards to call off of our Vanguard, obviously because of the fact of when it's placed on rearguard. Soul Blast 1, look at the top card of your deck, put it on the top or bottom of the deck. If you put it on the bottom of the deck, it gets +5 to end of turn. And when it attacks, if your damage zone has 4 more cards to the end of the battle, this unit gets +5. And if this unit was placed on rearguard by the ability of your Vanguard with Faded One and its card name this turn, and no drive checks were performed for the battle of your rearguard, you can Counterblast 1, it gets +10,000 and drive -1 instead of the +5, and you perform drive checks, having that added pressure with Gabuelius on the rearguard circle, being able to then, after your Vanguard attack, have the attack of your Gabuelius as well, or just the added setup for the drive checks to give you a little extra boost for that other rearguard as well. Other grade 3s, we're still running 2 copies of the original Faded One of Time, Liael Amorta, because we have the added defensive option. Let's put on guard circle, discard a card from your hand, and put 2 cards from your bind zone on the bottom of the deck in any order. Choose one of your units with Faded One in its card name and cannot be hit till the end of that battle, having a way around some of the guard restriction options with the deck. So we can use Liael Amorta to then recycle some of the cards from the bind zone as well by placing them back into the main deck while having more of a defensive card, just like our other Sentinels that we run in the deck, to use against our opponents. For the grade 2s, 4 copies of Knight of Bright Blade Rogelia. When it's placed on rearguard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Liael in its card name, Soul Blast 1, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 grade 3 or greater card with Liael in its card name, or up to 1 Blessed Dragon Gabuelius from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle the deck. So it gives you search for our grade 3s that we run in the deck for added consistency for any of them that we may need. So better chances that we'll hit with this card. So a definite 4 of. And during your turn, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Liael in its card name, this unit gets +5,000. Or if your rearguard or bind zone has a Blessed Dragon Gabuelius, it gets +10 instead, making it a 20k attacker on its own. But the search power with this card is just very consistent for a definite 4 of in the deck that you want to rely on. Other grade 2s include 4 copies of the new Benevolence Dragon when it's discarded from hand or retired from the guard circle. If you have a grade 3 grade Vanguard Liael in its card name, you may put this card into the soul, giving you more soul buildup to use with some of our other cards that we run in the deck. And on the rear guard or the guard circle, if your bind zone is a face-up card, this unit gets +5 power and +5 shield. Having it be a 10k shield on its own and then a 15k attacker on its own just makes it more of a consistent card to rely on just by having what we're supposed to do in this game for the playset style setup. And also 2 copies of our Sequence Wizard. When it's placed on rear guard during your main phase, if you have a grade 3 grade Vanguard with Liael in its card name, count last 1, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and choose up to 1 grade 3 or less card from among them, call it to rear guard, and shuffle the deck. And when your other unit's bound by your Vanguard's ability, this unit gets +5 until end of turn, and you may soul charge 1. So more soul charge power as well, thanks to this card. This was one I was trying to debate on what numbers I wanted to run for it, but decided to stick on 2, since it doesn't really have to have any other additional benefits with this card to have its own copy be bound. So you're good with just running the 2 copies of this card in the deck. For the grade 1s, 4 copies of Sergon. It's too good not to use this card just with the consistency of having more rear guards than your opponent, or you play Denora this turn. It gets +5,000 to the end of the battle. And at the end of that battle, retire this unit, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, choose a card from among them, put them into the hand, put the rest on the bottom of the deck. So we can't use Sergon in Raziel anymore, but we can use it in Liael, making it all the stronger of a card because it's just too good of a grade 1 not to use in the deck with its overall consistency of being able just to give you more cards and a good power boost on top of that. Our new grade 1 from the newest set as well is the Knight of Distant Bow, Amoy. When this card is placed on rear guard, choose a grade 3 card with Liael and its card name from your ride deck. You may reveal it. If you revealed a card, you have a grade 3 Vanguard with Liael, energy charge 1. So it gives you more of that energy charge power to be all ready to go with our energy blast 4 that we'll use with Liael Draconis. And on rear guard, at the end of the battle, you boosted. If you have a grade 3 grade Vanguard with Liael in its card name and your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, put this unit in the soul, and you get all your front row rear guards get +5 till the end of turn. So then just after providing the boosted power, you can use this card as a way to clear up your rear guard circle while also being able to provide more pressure to your opponent's Vanguard by having your front row get added plus power on top of your potential Persona ride you may have also done. 2 copies of Gregon just for the added countercharge power of being able to have consistency when you called a rear guard to the rear guard circle with this card, and your Vanguard with Divine Skill on top of that. And then lastly, for the grade 1s, 4 copies of Palladium Zeal Dragon. Just the Sentinel of choice. If you want to run Elementaria Sanctitude, you can just drop down 1 copy of this grade 1 for a copy of that Blitz order. But we are running other Blitz orders in the deck as well in the form of Heavenly Bright. You play it with an Energy Blast 2. Look at the top card of your deck. Call it to guard circle or put it on the top of the deck. If you called a card, this card, the card called, gets plus 10,000 shield to the end of that battle. So just with, depending if you call, let's say, a trigger unit, you can have that trigger get an additional plus power, adding for the defense of this Blitz order on any card that it calls to the guard circle. With our trigger lineup being the 8 criticals, so 4 copies of Shivamya and 4 copies of Light Elemental Bachiri. If you have the ability trigger, you can always take out the Light Elemental for that spot in the deck. And then the next spot in the deck, which are the front triggers, which we're running 3 copies of Bard of Heavenly Song Alpac, just for the added pressure that the other units we have in the deck. Persona Ride, the +1 from our grade 1 Almav. We have all of this consistency, so added pressure with our fronts in the deck also. And then lastly, the 4 heals, just being the generics for Arados, and our over trigger being a Martinoa for the drive check power that we can provide to our other rear guards as well. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. This was the one deck I was the most excited for from the Dragonsoul Resonance, so definitely wanted to start off with this one for the newest update to the deck from the booster set. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.